I'm feeling pretty weird right now. Thank you for asking. So I've talked about often in my streams how I'm bipolar, and I've kind of talked about what it does sometimes. I've talked about it a little bit, but I've never really gone into how it affects me as a person or what it means to me. And so that's what this video is going to kind of dive into and hopefully give some people some insight into what it's been doing. So, yeah, I suffer from bipolar disorder. It's doctor diagnosed. I didn't self diagnose. It's doctor diagnosed. I spent time in a psychiatric hospital because of actions performed during a depressive episode. Like, it's been a real part of my life for years now, and I only just started getting help for it last October. So, with bipolar disorder, um, you have, of course, you have your normal state, and this is the part where I do the hand gestures again for like 30 minutes. Um, you have your normal state where you're calm, collected. Well, I shouldn't say that. You're you. You know who you are. You're exactly who you think you are. You do the same things you usually do. You talk to the same people you normally do. You just do you. Well, above that, you have mania and manic episodes where you're kinda you, but you're a lot more excited, a lot more upbeat, a lot more willing to take risks. For me, when I'm in manic episodes, I spend a lot of money. It's just what I do. I don't take many risks. I just spend a lot of money frivolously, just kind of throwing it away. Um, Dark Venom. Hello, Dark Venom. Hi. Um, so, but you're elated. That's the word that's used in kind of the dictionary definition. You're very excited, very excitable. You're very irritable. That's a big thing. I know, for me in particular, and I guess for most people who suffer from mania, you're really ecstatic. You're really excited, but the slightest thing can go wrong, and it fucking pisses you off. I'm talking punching holes through walls because a pencil fell on the floor. That's how bad it gets. I have broken hand before because of. So, you know, I don't know how really to explain mania. My bipolar leans more toward the depressive side. My mania is perfectly controlled on medication. I don't experience manic episodes very often at all. And when I do, they're very minor. But the depressive episodes are still here. So on the polar opposite side of mania, you have depression. You have those feelings of self-hatred, of self-doubt, of self-loathing, of just not wanting to exist. Just feeling like you're a nuisance to everyone around you. Just feeling like you should die because it would be better for everyone else in the long run. You know, those types of feelings. And that's not just depressive episodes. That's depression. If you suffer from depression, you know what that's like. If you suffer from depressive episodes, you know what that's like. But you're just very down, I guess is the way to put it, which doesn't do it any justice at all, and it's so hard to explain to someone. Interesting doing vlogs on a live stream. Thanks! I'm just gonna cut this into a highlight later and upload it directly to my YouTube channel. Depression definitely sucks, yes. I'm not going to be responding to chat very often, but, feel free to keep typing and I'll respond at some point. Because I don't want this to drag on for too long. I don't want it to be like an hour long and I need to be in bed soon. And that's coughing in the background. So, that's more coughing in the background. So, you're dealing with those negative feelings and it's just sort of there. That's the weird thing with bipolar disorder. It's just sort of there. You're normal, and then you're not. Just like that. It just happens. Nothing in particular has to happen. You could be washing dishes one day. This actually happened to me. You could be washing dishes one day in your normal state, and then suddenly, burst of energy, you're fucking flying about the house, doing literally everything. and just talking to everyone, texting everyone on your phone, fucking just jamming out to the loudest music you can find. And, you know, maybe normally you're a recluse who doesn't do that sort of thing. But let's stop using self-examples. So, you know, it just happens like that. Sometimes it can be triggered. It absolutely can be. And it's so annoying to use that word now when it's been destroyed by Tumblr, I guess. It's been destroyed by somebody. Um, but yeah, it can be triggered. I had a depressive episode trigger from when a good friend of mine was talking about suicide one day, and then he disappeared for a while, and we all legitimately thought he had gone somewhere and killed himself. And that fucking threw me down. And, you know, all those feelings, all that. So, you know, and I recently went through a breakup where instead of feeling devastated like I did eventually end up feeling a few weeks afterward, but instead of feeling absolutely devastated, had that huge swell of energy, was fucking perfectly fine, was happy. I was just okay. So it can be triggered, but a lot of the time it does just happen like that. Nothing in particular has to happen. It's not like you say, I really want to feel sad today, so I'm going to think about the things that make me really sad, and then I'm going to be really sad. You can do that. Like, in your normal state, you can be like, oh, hey, I want to be sad, and then you're like, sad. But it's not like going into depression where, you know, it's so hard to explain. It's so hard to explain. Just to be fine 1 second, and then the next second, you're not.
Self-aware when it happens. Can respond.
Are you self-aware when it happens? Yes, absolutely. Mania is the weird one with me. Like, a lot of manics, as far as I'm aware, don't like realize that they're in their manic state, but afterward they realize they were. Me, I'm kind of the same. Sometimes I can peg it, but again, I don't deal with mania very often, so I kind of know when I'm dealing with it, I guess. And I guess if you're not knowing what to look for, like if you don't know you're bipolar, then you're not looking for it actively, and you don't know it's a problem. I did start to realize mine was a problem when I was getting super pissed over menial things. I'm talking, like, I would be pouring water out of a cup, a little bit would splash on the counter, and I would fucking deck the counter as hard as I could and yell as loud as I could and just get absolutely livid. That was a real thing that happened, and that scared me once I realized I was doing it. But, you know, in that manic state, you're not really aware that you're doing it, but afterward you are. The depression, you know exactly when it's happening, because you can tell when you're, you know, you can tell when you go from your normal state to when you're just fucking depressed. Like, you know, you have those feelings of self-hatred, self-doubt, self-loathing. I keep saying it like that. Self-hatred and self-loathing are the same exact fucking thing. But I like to use synonyms, I guess. You have those negative feelings, you know, you feel guilty, you feel like you're a burden on everyone in your life, and you feel like everyone would be better off without you. You just have those feelings, and, you know, it's not like you can just say, I don't want to think about this anymore, so I'm not going to think about it anymore. You can, like, normally I can do that. Like, if I have a negative thought creep into my head, I'm like, I don't want to think about that, and, like, I'll physically, like, close my eyes really tight and just sort of force it away. It's a thing that you kind of learn to do. But, you know, just randomly, those negative thoughts will come at you, and they'll just keep coming. You think of one thing that kind of got you down back in the day, but now you should be over it. Now you think you're over it, but you think about it, and you think about it, and you analyze it, and you overanalyze it, and you think and think until suddenly you've torn that thought to shreds, and you've digested every iota of knowledge that it had, and you are fucking pissed about it. Not really pissed. That's not really the right word to use. You're more devastated over it. You're depressed over it. don't know what to do about it. But it's not just one thought, it's multiple coming at you, one after the other, just slamming down on your head. Like, I used this fucking, I guess, metaphor earlier, and I really liked that metaphor. So, I don't know what that metaphor was, though. It was something about something. I don't know. I had a metaphor, though, and I was really proud of myself for it. So, it never really goes away. So, and that's the weird thing about bipolar disorder. It's interesting you should say that. It never really goes away. Like depression, it's there constantly. There's no doubt about that. And I am so sorry for those who, deal with depression like as their main thing. That is shitty and sucky, and I don't know how they bear it, but every ounce of respect I have goes to them for dealing with it. Like, seriously, kudos to you guys. With bipolar disorder, the thoughts are there, and then they're not. Just happens. As quickly as you can go from perfectly fine to your lowest of low, you can go from your lowest of low to perfectly fine. Just like that. That's all it takes. And nothing in particular does it, it just happens. And I was having this conversation with someone earlier about those feelings that I was experiencing. I was experiencing those feelings yesterday of self-hatred, self-doubt, just feeling like a shitty person, feeling like I was being a bother, over-analyzing everything I was saying to them, and feeling like everything I said was a nail in a proverbial coffin. And there was no reason I should have felt that way. There was absolutely no good reason. But I felt it anyway. And that's the weird thing. That's the thing about it. It just happens. There's nothing you can really do about it. And I say that, and believe me, I've tried everything I can to kind of deal with it. I take my medication, I go to my counseling sessions, I take the things that other people say and I try them. Getting a job certainly helped. I can tell you that much right now. Like, right now, with the medication I'm on, with the counseling I've done, with the job that I have, my depression isn't as frequent as it used to be, and it's not as intense as it used to be. Back then, back in October, it got to the point where I tried to commit suicide. And, it hasn't been that bad since. It's gotten dangerously close, but it hasn't gotten that bad since. And it's so weird to talk about that. But I did try, and I failed. Thankfully, I did fail.
Where I see it, thoughts are like chips in a tree. You just gotta.
Yeah. And it's okay. I've accepted that it's happened. I'm okay with it. I've moved on. Surprisingly, that's one of the things that I can think about and I've always thought about. I'm okay with it. I accept that it happened. It's a part of me. It's something that happened. It shaped me as a person. I think I'm a better person for it. And that's so weird to think. That isn't like me advocating, oh yeah, go try to kill yourself. It'll make you a better person. It doesn't work like that. But, it did, in my case, it helped me a little bit. It made me see things a little more clearly. And that's a whole discussion for another vlog. But, it's just hard to explain how the thoughts are there, suddenly they're not, suddenly they're back again. And, people trying to tell you, oh, just get over it, think of something else, it'll be okay. When there's no way. You try as hard as you can, and you know that those thoughts can go away. You know that they'll go away, but they won't go away yet. And you sit there and you fucking just wait it out until they finally do. Because at least when I am in that depressive state, I know it's going to be over at some point. I just don't know when. And it's just a matter of dealing with it, of just going through it. And, in that state, you want to try to reach out to someone, you want to try to talk to someone about it, but you're always afraid of what they'll say to you. You're afraid they'll belittle your problems, or you're afraid that they won't understand. You're afraid that you're going to bother them. You're afraid that they're just not going to care. And it's absolutely not the case. Like, there are a lot of people in anyone's life that would absolutely drop everything that they're doing to help you. And that's something I've realized with a certain person in my life. And that's something that a lot of other people are going to have a realization of, or should have a realization of. There are those people in your life that would do absolutely anything for you. You just got to figure out who they are. So, you know, and I just keep coming back to that thought. It's not there, then it's there. It just happens. It's like flipping a switch. It just happens, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Um, and that's the worst feeling with it, not being able to do anything about it, because you feel so helpless. You feel so lost and stuck with it, and you just don't know what to do. But, you know, I'm trying to go over everything that I talked about before in that other vlog that got deleted by XSplit being annoying. And I'm trying to retread all that ground. So forgive me if my thoughts are a little bit muddled. I think I had it pretty nicely wrapped up last time, but this time it's kind of a complete mess, and it's all over the place. So, you know, just yesterday, the feelings I were having, the feelings I was having, I was feeling like if I talk, everything I was saying to this person was wrong. And if I go back and reread the texts that I sent them, they're fine. There's nothing that I said wrong. There's nothing that I said that was bad. There's nothing that I said that was like annoying or whiny or cringy or anything like that. None of them were bad. None of them were anything but, decent. So I don't know why I was feeling like I was being a bother to them, but I did. And, this person told me that, it's just feeling bad for myself, or I'm making up excuses for myself. And, you know, the thing is, people are going to say, no matter who you talk to about this, there's going to be those people in anyone's life. I shouldn't say just in your life, in anyone's life, who are going to say, you're just making up an excuse for yourself. You're saying, oh, I'm bipolar. It's not an excuse. It's a mental illness. That's the thing. That's why there's medication for it. Like, when you're going through this stuff, you're not in your right state of mind. You're not in control of your faculties. You're not you. It's basically a Snickers commercial. You're just not you. That's what it is. You have your normal state where you're absolutely yourself. Then you have those two states where you're just not. You're a completely different person. I actually know a guy through streaming who suffers with multiple personality disorder. And it's not like that. It's not like being bipolar is like that. It's a similar concept, but it's not like being completely different people. Like, there are still remnants of you in there, and you still retain your memories, your knowledge, all that. But it's uncomfortably close. At least from what he's told me. You're you one second, the next second, you're a different person. I'm putting that in quotes for the bipolar side. You're a different person. For all intents and purposes, you're a different person. Like, and that can be best seen in, like, the kind of company that you keep. Like, when you're in your normal state, and then when you're manic, you might hang around different people. Your normal friends might annoy you. And that was certainly the case when I was dealing with mania. My normal circle of friends, I couldn't stand them. And so I surrounded myself with new people. In fact, there came a point where I was writing people out of my life, just cutting them out, because I thought they were unnecessary. And then when I came out of that state, I'm like, oh my god, what have I done? And fortunately, those people understood and they forgave me for it. But, you know, it I wasn't me. And, you know, it's so easy to say just get over it. But the fact of the matter is you can't. You just can't get over it. There's no getting over it. There's no flipping another switch right at that moment. You have to wait until that switch flips itself. You're relying on a broken circuit. Is that the right analogy? That's not the right analogy. I don't fucking know electronics. You're relying on shit. Andrew's gonna come here and tell me what's up. Andrew, just write in the comments how I fucked that up, because I know I fucked that up. So, yeah, you're just not you. I can't stress that enough. You're just not you. That's all there is to it. You're not yourself. And you sometimes you know you're not yourself, but you can't help it. You don't know what to do with yourself. So all that's really left is to ride it out, to tough it out. I was told that at one point too. Just tough it out. Let me read this.
Brains can be very destructive. We develop a pattern as I say. Yes, always remember there's someone.
Yes, thank you. So, you know, it's okay. I'm being sneaky. So, I'm trying to think of all the other things I talked about. Not a lot of it's coming to mind. All I know is in that state, in that depressive state, and this is me in particular that I'm talking about right now, in that depressive state, I feel like I'm nothing. I feel like I'm annoying to people. I feel like I don't matter to people. I feel like everything I say to someone is wrong. I overanalyze what I say. I hate every word that comes out of my mouth. I can't stand myself. And of course, those feelings of wanting to self-harm come back. Those thoughts of suicide come back. And I can tell you right now, in that state, there are more moments of thinking of suicide and how I do it than there are moments of not. And that sucks. But I deal with it. I get through it. And I guess that's one of the messages that I want to spread. To, you know, you can get through it. It just takes time. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to suck. But you can get through it. Absolutely. Without a doubt. You can get through it. But in that state, you don't think you can. You feel like the next day is probably your last. You feel like the next time you get around a sharp enough object, that's it. You're done. That's what it feels like. And that's just me in particular. I don't know how a lot of other people's depression progresses. That's just me. And that's another one of the things. It's a case-by-case basis. Not everyone's bipolar is the same. Not everybody's depression is the same. Not everybody's multiple personality disorder is the same. It's a case-by-case basis. It's person-specific. Tailored especially to you. It's the worst commercial product you never asked for. So, you know, you just kind of deal. I have tried meditation. I've tried a lot of things to try and get it under control. And, you know, one of the things that I do to try and get over it, I didn't talk about this in the last attempt. One of the things I try to do to get over it or to deal with it is to talk about it. But when you're in that state, when I'm in that state, you feel like talking about it to someone is annoying. You feel like they don't care. You feel like you're alone. That's one of the things I wanted to touch on. How lonely it feels. But we'll get to that in a second. Just remind me in a second if I'm like, what did I want to talk about? Just remind me in a second that I wanted to talk about the loneliness. I actually lost my train of thought. Son of a bitch. Let's see. Fuck it, we'll talk about the loneliness now. Just remind me of the other train of thought I was on later. That's the glory of doing this live. So, when you're in that state, when you're feeling like this, oh, right, talking about it. Son of a bitch. I can't get my thoughts straight right now. It's 5 a.m. Or almost 5 a.m. It's 5 a.m. I need to get to bed soon. Um, you know, you the thing that I do is try to talk about it, but when you're in that state, when I'm in that state, you feel like talking about it is annoying and you feel like nobody wants to hear about it. So you don't I don't end up talking about it. But the thing I started doing to when I wanted to talk about it was stream. That's what I'm doing now. I felt myself starting to go to that place. And I knew if I didn't talk about it, I would seethe over it and I would go into that place. That's a bit of a contradiction there. Saying it just happens, but then being like, but I was able to kind of control it. Maybe. I know that if I kept going down that path, if I kept thinking about it like that, it would have triggered an episode. But I was kind of able to steer myself away from it by talking about this. And the fact that there is a person here in the chat right now just with me, kind of talking to me about it, that validates it a little bit. That validates me. And that's one of the things that really helps is to feel validated. Um, I think I've talked about before how I'm a very non self confident person, and I often seek the validation of others. Well, there we go. I feel validated. I feel like I'm making a change. Whatever. But, I'm talking about it, and I'm glad to be talking about it because it's something that is always. So, in this state, when I'm feeling my lowest of low, when I want to try to reach out to someone, I feel like I can't because I dog's making noises because I don't feel like anyone really cares. I feel like I'm annoying someone when I talk to them about it. I feel like my problems don't matter compared to theirs. I feel like I'm just detracting from their life if I bring up my own issues. Because who am I to bring my problems to another person? That's not right. Right? That's what it feels like. And it makes you feel so alone in the world. Because you don't think you can talk to anyone about it. You think that there's no one there. But, you know, there is someone. There's always someone. There's always someone out there who cares about you enough to drop everything in their lives at that moment to help you with your problems, to help you get through this. There's always that person. I've found that person, and I'm thankful every day to have them. Um, and whoever's watching this, the collective you here, you have that person in your life. You may not know who it is, but you have that person. And if for some saddening reason you don't have that person, find that person, reach out to someone, make that connection, meet that person, get them in your life. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of shittiness in the world, but you'd be surprised how many people there are. I just sort of didn't, the whole pain is relative thing. It's stupid to try to say your own problems don't matter by saying somebody else's problems are worse. That's stupid. Stop that. Your problems matter. If you're having these kinds of thoughts, if you're thinking of hurting yourself, if you're thinking of killing yourself, if you're thinking you don't matter, if you're thinking you're worthless, your problems matter. They matter to you and they matter to the people around you. People around you don't want to see you like that. The people around you would much rather you be happy and would much rather have a good time with you. Those people care about you, and you care about them. But, there are people out there who know exactly what you're going through, who are going through worse, who are maybe going through a little less. They know what you're going through, they know what you're dealing with. You're not alone. You don't have to feel alone. I know what you're dealing with. You know what I'm dealing with. Neither of us are alone in that. So, what I kind of want to close out on is the big thing, and I try to talk about this in stream as much as possible. If you are having thoughts like this, if you're experiencing something similar to what I've talked about, if you think for any reason that you need help, get help. Because these problems don't just go away on their own. They're here to stay until you deal with them. And they don't get easier, they don't get better. 90% of the time it gets worse. And you might think, oh, this is as bad as it's going to get. It might get worse if you don't get help. So, seriously, if you think you need help, if you know somebody who you think needs help, just get help. Reach out to someone. Reach out to that someone in your life. Call a crisis center. Call a toll-free number. Call 911. Because if you really think you need help, if you really think there's something wrong with you, you need that help. You need it now more than ever. Don't put it off until tomorrow. Don't wait until it gets worse. Just get help as soon as possible. Get help right now. If what I'm saying right now is resonating with you at all, if you're thinking, I might need help, fucking stop the video, call someone, or just yell into the next room, I need help. Of course, you're going to have to think of some sort of way to explain it to them. And that's what really gets a lot of people. That's why I didn't say anything. Of course, there was the, I don't want to bother other people with my problems thing. But there was also the, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to explain this. Of course, I've had years now to kind of put it into words. But even now, I still struggle. But, you'll figure out a way. Yeah, get help. Seriously. Find that person in your life who really cares about you, because they will drop everything to make sure you're okay. So yeah, really, just get help. That's the moral of the story. Get help. I really wish the original of this would have been saved, but it's whatever. Hopefully this kind of helps someone, because I had this realization that this is what I want to do with my life. This is what I want to contribute to the world. I know what this is like, and I want to help others get through it. That's what I intend to do when I do stand-up. I want to make other people forget for just a moment that their life might be shitty, and I want to make them feel good for just a little while. And I also want to spread the message to get help if you need help. Absolutely. So, just get help. And I think that's where the end of this vlog is going to be. Hopefully it was coherent. Hopefully it explained what I wanted to explain. It's so hard to put it into words. It's really hard to put it into words. But I hope you have some understanding. The big thing, the Switch. It happens. That's TLDR, basically. So, I'm going to go ahead and close out this vlog. Actually, I'll read out what's on chat right now, and then I'll close out the vlog. Maybe talk to you guys for a little while longer and hang out with you guys for a little bit. And actually, before I close out the vlog, fucking thank you guys for hanging out. That means a lot to me. That really does. It means you clicked on this video and you're like, or you clicked on this vlog and somebody clicked on a video. You were interested in this and you wanted to learn a little bit, or you wanted to sympathize a little bit, or you wanted someone to sympathize with you a little bit. Either way, it does mean a lot to me that you guys watch this sort of thing, and I appreciate you so much for it. Thank you. for taking the time out of your day to hang out with me and listen to my shit. Holy crap, that means a lot. So I'm gonna read through chat right now, and then I'll, if I need to address something, I'll address it. Otherwise, that'll be the end of it.
PTSD from someone who had bipolar. After a breakup, wishing good to him. You're so sweet for sure. Helping others takes a lot of guts to do it.
My heart. My little heart right now. You guys are the best. You guys are so amazing. So, got fish. Got fish? Got fish? Got fish? So, my friend had PTSD from someone who had bipolar. She acted crazy after a breakup, and since then, he has been afraid of people with it. Any advice you can give to him? I want him to not be so afraid. So, the thing with actually having bipolar disorder, having it is one thing. Having it while getting help is a completely different fucking thing. So, I can't actually speak for mania so much because I don't deal with a lot of mania. I deal with the depressive side. That's where all of my issues are. My mania is well controlled on medication. For reference, I'm on a 1 milligram Risperdal for mania. I'm on a 300 milligram Lamictal for depressive episodes. Mania is completely taken care of most of the time. Sometimes it peaks out a little bit. The depression is still ravaging. It's not as bad as it used to be, though, and I'm thankful every day for that. But let's just crack all the knuckles on stream right now. Why not? And just in case you guys are wondering, yes, sometimes we do stream games here. Just FYI. But the thing with... That's actually an interesting question. Like, how do you convince someone to not be afraid of someone with bipolar disorder? I guess it's the same way as trying to convince someone to just not be afraid of anyone with a mental illness. I would go into detail about something, but that's very private at the moment, and I don't know if that person wants that getting out there. So I'll leave that for another time. But, the thing is, not everyone with bipolar disorder is the same. It's the same with people in general. Not every person is the same. Not every bipolar disorder is the same. If your friend does meet someone else who has bipolar disorder, they could be like me, who only suffers from the depressive side of things, or they could be someone who is high off their ass with the mania. I know my doctor explained to me one time that he's had patients who basically thought they were invincible. They would like throw themselves off of buildings and shit. They were that high off of their mania. They would think they were Jesus effing Christ. And it was a whole thing. Like, my mania is so much more tame compared to theirs. But, again, not every person with bipolar disorder is the same. It's, and you gotta remember that a person is more than their mental illness. I am a lot more than what my mental illness is. I am a person just like you. I have thoughts, I have feelings, I have hopes, aspirations, dreams. I want to accomplish things. I want to make a positive impact on the world. It's just I have this little hurdle to get over every now and again. Just not every person is the same. Not every mental illness is the same. Not every type of mental illness is the same. Not every bipolar disorder is the same. If your friend did get, hurt by someone who is bipolar, all I can say is sometimes that happens, yeah. But that's just the same as being hurt by anyone else. Trying to think. My father, actually, his first wife tried to shoot him She did not suffer from a mental illness. She was just fed up with him. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's a good point. Just you don't have to be crazy to be crazy. If that makes any sense. I hope that makes a little bit of sense.
Um, I mean, and she refused to get help. But thanks for answering. So, so cool for sharing.
Oh my. Yeah. I think I really hope. Yeah, the thing about it is you have to realize you need help, and you have to want to get help, and you have to want to get better. You have to have all three before you can do anything. The big thing is wanting to get better. I want to get better. I want to beat this thing to show that it can be beaten, to give other people hope that they can beat theirs. That's what I want to do. I'm just going to keep holding this up and look like I'm flipping you off. I don't know why that looks so silly. Um, so, you know, that's just what I want. I want to get better. Not only for that, I want to get better for the people in my life so I can show them the support that they need to get better in their own regards. I want to be able to. Holy crap. No, you cannot get mud. I want to show them. I want to be able to show them support. I want to be able to get better just to have a decent life. You know? And I think that's all anyone ever wants, just to have a decent life, to live a good life, to have the white picket fence and all that. I think that's all most people want. Some people want to watch the world burn. Those are the people that are probably the ones your friends should worry about, not just the regular bipolar people. Um, I'll have to talk about what it was like to be in a psychiatric hospital someday. Maybe tomorrow we'll come back with another vlog. Because that was an interesting experience. But,
Reading chat again. What's something that someone can do to make someone with bipolar? I know everyone is different, but makes you happy. Staying with someone struggling right now with it.
Give me that sword. I will not give you a sword, but 10 out of 10 try.
That's a scary place to be.
Fortunately, I was only in there for about 2 weeks, but it turns out when you get into a place where they put crazy people, if you're not crazy, they don't make you stay. So, oh man. I shouldn't say that because that is kind of insensitive to people who aren't actually crazy. Because a lot of people go to psychiatric hospitals for different reasons. There are drug addiction reasons, there's depression reasons, and then there are, the crazy reasons. But where I was, they didn't have the crazy people. It was more the mild people. I am absolutely batshit, man. Okay, going back to your question, Gotfish. What's something that someone can do to make someone with bipolar feel happy / okay / nice? I know everyone is different, but what calms you down? For me, the best thing you can absolutely do is just talk to them. Let them know that they're not alone. Just talk to them about their problems. And don't try to bring up your own problems as a rebuke to what they're telling you. Don't tell them that someone else is going through something worse. Because more often than not, when somebody told me that, it made me feel even worse. Because it's like, who am I to be feeling like this when some poor kid in Ethiopia is starving to death while getting beaten mercilessly? You can't think about it that way. Just think about it in terms of you. And if you're trying to help your friend or someone with bipolar disorder, just talk to them about their problems. Hear them out, because that's what they really want. They just want to be heard. And when they are, they're still going to feel shitty because that switch probably hasn't flipped back. But they'll feel better shitty. Like, and when they come out of that state, they'll realize what you've done for them. They'll realize that you were helping them. But really, all we ever want is to just be heard, just be talked to, just be friends.
Um, Going back to your other question, I don't know if that answered yours very well. What's something that someone can do? Oh, I already read that one. Oh, and last thing, what is the best advice you can give to someone struggling with it right now? So, um,
What's the best advice I can give to someone dealing with it right now? So, I knew a man like yo. So, pre getting help, the best thing they can do is start getting help. Just flat out. After that, you know, take your medication, go to your counseling sessions, do your therapy, reach out to people in your life, create a support group just of people that you know, people that you can go to at any time who will help you with anything you need. Create that support group. I used to have that support group, then it sort of collapsed. Whatever, it happens. But I had it when I needed it. Just create that support group. You always need those people that you can talk to whenever you need to talk to someone. Aside from that,
best advice: stay a virgin.
okay. So aside from that, really the biggest thing is to just have people in your life. You know, and if you don't have people in your life, find those people. Meet someone. Like, if you go to group counseling, you can always trust people there. Of course, one of the biggest pieces of advice I got from a psychiatric hospital was from one of the doctors. You can be friends with people in here, just don't be friends with them out. And I thought that was so weird. Like, you try to build a friendship or a bond with some of the people in there, and then suddenly you're gone and you don't have that anymore. What do you do for a living? I work at Home Depot. So, you know, while you're getting help, have that support system. Talk about your problems openly. Don't bottle things up. That's what led me to being in a psychiatric hospital. Don't bottle those things up. Just talk to people about it. And that's really about it. Just talk. Do what I'm doing right now. Like, you would be surprised how therapeutic it feels to be talking about this right now, just to be saying it to people who are listening, and to be able to put it on the internet and be like, hey, yo, this is me, this is what I'm going through, this is what's happening. And it's absolutely crazy to me to think that I've kind of had a following from this. But, you know, it happens. Granted, I do a whole lot of other shit, but this is, you know, one of the things that I like to do. So... Man, this guy's crazy. Mm-hmm. Yep. You know I am. So... He talks to himself. I like you. You can stay.
You're the best man. I love your advice. Got it. You've been really helpful. We'd be doing a blog like this again. It's nice to help others. Let's learn more about people who are struggling.
I will be doing this again. Judging by the support that's here now, judging by the people who are here to maybe learn or just here to maybe troll. Like, I don't mind that. Like, I enjoy the trolling too. I have fun with it. Because I like responding to stupid shit with more stupid shit. And trolls are like the best people in the world. Just because they remind you that there are people out there who just like to be silly. And, you know, it's fun to be silly every now and again. So, seriously, you guys, thumbs up. But yeah, I think I need to close this out because it is almost 5:30. Oh my god. I need to be up at 1. Yeah, I need to be up soon. So I need to go to bed soon. Yeah, I need to kill this because we've been doing this for nearly an hour. God damn it. Okay, I'm gonna catch up with chat one more time, and then I'm gonna close this out because holy shit.
Um, you recommend some fun things to do for 3 months. I was recently diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. Thank you for your time. Um,
Yeah, I'm not streaming for much longer. We'll be closing out here in a moment. Can you recommend something fun to do for 3 months? Oh, thank you for the follow. Yeah, if you followed, by the way, thank you for the follow. I don't have my follower alerts up right now because I'll be perfectly honest with you, I didn't expect anyone to watch this. This is more being recorded for YouTube. So if you missed the full thing, youtube.com/, I guess I'll put this on my main channel, youtube.com/Saravich. And this will be on there if you want to catch the full thing and see it like that. But I'm going to go ahead and kill this. Yep. Alright, sweet. Thank you guys for the follow. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this thing. Thank you guys every day. All of you, not just the new people, all of you guys who have been here since the beginning, who have been dealing with my shit. Thank you guys, seriously, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here. Thank you for existing, because I really appreciate you more than you will ever know. And if nothing else, if you have nothing else in your life to carry you, I appreciate you. Hopefully that works. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Take care. Okay, now I'm actually killing the stream. I just need to make sure I had it went on long enough to catch the very end of that.